My brother wrote a message in our family chat for everyone to see. It said, "Don't come to my engagement party. You'll embarrass me in front of her whole family." I read it and my stomach sank. Mom put 4 heart emojis. Dad put a laughing emoji. Everyone else probably saw it too. I was in the middle of a very long and very detailed tattoo session, one of those tattoos that takes hours and hours to get just right. I was using white ink, which is really delicate and tricky. The needle was buzzing on someone's skin, and I had to be careful or it could ruin everything. When the message came to my second phone, I looked at it. I read it one time. I typed 2 words, sent it, and then flipped my phone over. I didn't want to think about it anymore. I kept working. I am Lyric Vera, 32 years old. I make special tattoos called henna and white ink tattoos. People from all over Las Vegas book me months in advance because my tattoos are famous. My work is on dancers, brides, and even people you might see on big billboards around the city. But even though my work is loved by strangers, my own family treats me differently. To them, I've always been the secret. They pray I don't show up in photos. I thought that message from my brother would end the problem, but I was wrong. The very next morning, my whole family stormed into my studio. And I mean stormed. I had a celebrity dancer sitting in my chair, lying carefully on the table, and suddenly the studio door opened with a loud slam. My brothers Aloan looked straight at me and said words that completely turned the room upside down. If you have ever been told, "You're not wanted at your own brother's party," then you need to hear what happened next. But before I continue, hit the subscribe button and tell me where are you watching this from, and what time of day is it? The studio doorbell rang like a fire alarm at exactly 9 in the morning. Someone was pressing on it really hard and wouldn't let go. I was 4 hours into a full-back white ink tattoo on one of the lead dancers from a big new show in Vegas. She was lying face down, breathing slowly, arms tucked under her chest, while I carefully traced every single line. White ink is not easy. It takes patience, precision, and focus. The moment the door slammed open, everyone in the studio turned to look. Mom charged in first, her cheeks already red from anger. Dad came in next, shoulders squared, walking like he was going into a very serious business meeting he didn't want to attend. Alaric, my brother, came next. His hair was styled perfectly, and he wore a white linen shirt that screamed fancy brunch influencer. Then a woman I had never seen before came in. She had designer sunglasses pushed up into her hair, and her eyes were wide as she looked around the neon and flashy walls of my studio. Mom didn't wait for the door to close behind them. She shouted, "Your grandfather just called the house in a panic. He wants to know why his granddaughter isn't invited to Alaric's engagement party." Her voice was loud enough that the dancer flinched under my needle. 2 other clients on the velvet couch immediately grabbed their phones at the same time. The dancer lifted her head slightly. "Everything okay, Lyric?" she asked. I kept the tattoo machine running and said calmly, "Keep breathing for me, babe. You're doing great." Dad stepped up beside Mom with his arms crossed tight. He said, "One message and you had to drag the whole family into it. You couldn't just let it go." Alaric scanned the room like he had walked into the wrong building, lips pressed thin. And then the woman who had just walked in stopped. She stared at the tattoo I was shading on the dancer's back, then looked at the portfolio wall on my studio wall, then looked straight at me. I didn't look up. I sent 2 words in the chat. That was it. Mom opened her mouth again, louder this time. 2 words made your grandfather think we're ashamed of you. The woman cut in, her voice sharp with recognition. "Hold on. You're Lyric Vera? The Lyric Vera who did the custom henna sleeves for the entire cast of the new Cirque show? The white ink tattoos that were all over social media last month." The dancer on my table grinned, lifting her head a little. "That's exactly who is tattooing me right now. He has a 6-month wait list." The woman's mouth dropped open. "I've been trying to book you for 14 months. Your work is literally my entire inspiration board." Alaric's jaw went tight. "Aloan, this isn't the time," he said. So that was Aloan. Mom waved both hands like she could erase the last 20 seconds of chaos. "It doesn't matter what she does online," Mom said. "The point is, you made your grandfather think we're hiding something." I set the tattoo machine down carefully, grabbed a clean towel, and wiped the skin gently. "You are hiding something," I said. "You put it in writing in the family chat. With receipts." Dad snorted. "We were protecting Alaric's brand. This party is a big deal. Aloan's family expects a certain image." Aloan turned slowly to Alaric. "Wait, you told your own sister, the artist I've been obsessed with for years, not to come to our engagement party?" Alaric shot her a warning look. But she didn't stop. She walked all the way to my tattoo station, leaning in to study the detail I was shading along the dancer's spine. "This is unreal," she said. "The way the white sits on her skin tone, I've never seen anyone pull that off." Alaric's voice dropped. "Aloan, stop." She straightened and looked him dead in the eye. "Did you know who she was this whole time?" Alaric hesitated for 1 second. 2. The room went completely silent except for the low buzz of my tattoo machine and the soft click of phone shutters. Aloan's gaze flicked back to me. Something was shifting behind her eyes, something fast and amazed. Mom started talking again, words piling on top of each other, but they blurred into background noise. Dad tried to cut in. Alaric stood frozen. I dipped more ink, pressed the pedal harder, and kept working. The dancer exhaled as if she was bracing for round 2. Phones were out everywhere. Someone whispered, "This is going viral." Another laughed quietly under their breath. "Vegas drama stays in Vegas?" "Not anymore." Aloan didn't move from my station. She just watched me shade, watched the design come alive, and didn't say another word yet. I hadn't even grabbed a clean wipe when Dad cut straight through the silence. "We're still $20,000 short to lock the rooftop by Monday," he said, holding up his phone like he was already waiting for the QR code to scan. "Plus another $9,000 for the full floral package. The vendor needs it wired today, or the entire date is gone. Just send it now, Lyric." I picked up the tattoo machine again, checked my line work, and shook my head. "No," I said. Dad blinked twice. "What?" "No money," I said. "Not 20,000. Not 9,000. Nothing. I'm done being your bank." Alaric stepped forward, voice low and tight. "This rooftop is the launch of my entire rebrand. One canceled venue and every sponsor walks." I looked him in the eye. "Then let them walk. Maybe you'll finally learn how to pay for your own life." Dad switched to his calm, reasonable tone, the one he uses when he really wants something. "Sweetheart, family helps family. You've always been the one we could count on." I shook my head. "I've been the one you used. Mortgage payments when the club dues were late. Alaric's private coach. The down payment on the condo with the view you post every sunrise from the ring on her finger. You told everyone you bought yourself. All of me. 9 straight years. I'm done." Aloan's eyes snapped to Alaric so fast I heard her neck crack. Mom clutched her purse like it could protect her. "You're willing to destroy your brother's future over cash?" she asked. "I'm protecting my future," I said. I walked to the front desk and spun the booking iPad around, so the screen faced them. Every slot for the next 8 months was bright green. "Booked solid." "This is mine," I said. "I earned it. I'm keeping it." I turned back to them. "You're the ones leaving." Alaric's jaw flexed. "You're doing this in front of your clients." I shot back. "You did this in front of my clients. You don't get to storm into my studio and demand 30 grand like I owe you air." Dad tried again, softer. "Think about what you're throwing away." "I've thought about it every single time I transferred money I worked 60-hour weeks for," I said. I walked straight to the door and opened it wide. "Out! All of you!" Mom's voice cracked. "This is insane." Aloan spoke for the first time, barely audible. "Alaric, everything she just said, is it true?" He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. I pointed through the open door. "Now!" Dad gave me one last disappointed dad look. "You're going to regret this." I smiled. "I regret not doing it sooner." The 2 waiting clients stood up at the same time, quietly backing me up. The dancer gave me a small, fierce smile. Alaric stared at me for 5 full seconds, something raw flashing across his face, then turned and walked out. Mom followed, muttering the entire way. Aloan was last. She stopped inches from me. "I had no idea," she whispered. "I know," I said. She walked out. I shut the door, flipped the deadbolt, turned the sign to close on a Saturday for the first time in 3 years, and stood there listening to the sudden, perfect quiet. The dancer broke the silence. "Girl, that was the most savage thing I've ever witnessed." I exhaled, walked back to my station, picked up the tattoo machine, and smiled. My hands weren't shaking, not even a little. I looked around at my studio. The walls were full of my work, the lights glowing, the neon flickering. My clients trusted me, and that was more important than anyone else. My family could think whatever they wanted. My work, my rules, my life. I finished the tattoo slowly, carefully. Every line is perfect, every curve smooth. The dancer sat up, examined her back, and grinned. "I'm telling everyone," she said. I laughed quietly. "I know you are. That's fine." Aloan's words, my family, the argument, it all faded into background noise. This studio, my work, the people who appreciate me. That's what mattered. I looked down at the dancer's back, the white ink glowing softly. I picked up my machine and kept working. Calm, focused, strong. I had never felt more sure in my life. No one could take this away from me. My talent, my passion, my work, it was mine. And I would never let anyone, not even my own family, make me feel small again. The sound of the tattoo machine buzzed softly. The city outside kept moving, flashing lights and all. But inside, my studio was perfect, calm, and mine. I smiled to myself. Everything was exactly how it was supposed to be. The night of the big engagement party, the whole city looked like it was on fire with lights. Everywhere I looked, the streets and buildings were shining bright. I turned off my phone exactly at 6 o'clock, locked it inside my safe, and walked into my studio. When I stepped in, it looked like a completely different world. All the neon signs I usually kept dim were now shining super bright. Magenta, cyan, and violet lights spread across the ceiling, making it feel like a magical rainbow sky inside. Solen had arrived earlier at 4:30, with 3 of the best DJs from Omnia and EXCS. They were all famous in the city for throwing amazing parties. By 8 o'clock, the place was completely full. There were more than 150 people inside. Dancers spun around, showgirls twirled, aerialists swung from ropes, magicians showed tricks, photographers were taking pictures, and even 2 circus directors had canceled their own dinners just to be there. The moment word got out, everyone wanted to come. Someone had managed to sneak champagne from the Bellagio magic show. The champagne flowed on silver trays like water. My fog machine puffed smoke along with the music, rolling thick clouds across the floor. The clouds caught the lights from the neon signs and strobes, turning the room into a living, beating heart. Every single piece of art I had on the walls was backlit like it was in a fancy museum, glowing under the lights. Solen found me near the freehand henna bar and handed me a cold flute of champagne. She raised hers high for everyone to see. To the person who finally said no and meant it, she shouted. To Lyric Vera, the coolest artist on the strip, everyone lifted their glasses. The lead dancer from the new Jubilee show, the one with white ink on her ribs that had gone viral online, climbed onto a rolling table like it was a stage. She waved her arms and cheered. The aerialist whose full-back tattoo I had finished last month cupped her hands around her mouth and yelled. The chant started small, just a few voices, but it quickly grew louder until the entire room was shouting together. Lyric! 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 The DJ dropped the bass so hard that the mirrors shook. Phones went up everywhere, flashing like thousands of little cameras. Someone handed me another flute of champagne, and I drank it without even tasting it. A 6'7" magician, dressed in part of his stage costume, grabbed the microphone. He shouted something powerful about never letting anyone treat you badly, and the cheer that followed almost blew the windows out. Solen spun me under the lasers, laughing so hard that her eyes watered. This is your engagement party, babe, she shouted. The one you actually deserve. I was pulled into the center of the cleared dance floor, surrounded by people moving like liquid light. A drag queen I had done white lace thigh tattoos for last summer grabbed the mic from the DJ booth. To the sister who built her empire one needle at a time and never let anyone dim her shine, she said. Another dancer, still in her rehearsal sweats, jumped on a tattoo bed and yelled, To the family that shows up because they love you, not because they need your Venmo. Everyone went wild. Hands touched my shoulders, my waist, my arms. People I had worked with for years, and people I had just met tonight, all smiling like we had known each other forever. Someone draped a crown made of LED wire over my head. Someone else slipped a fresh bottle of champagne into my hand. The headliner, whose 40-hour back piece had gone viral online, wrapped her arms around me from behind. We've got you Lyric tonight and every night, she said. Another voice shouted, and the room erupted into laughter, full of pure joy. Solen leaned in, forehead against mine. Feel this, she said. This is what real family feels like. I looked around. Every glowing face, every tattoo I had ever made, now moving under my lights. No guilt, no pretending, no demands, just pure happiness. The music slowed down and got heavy and wild. The dancers formed a circle around me, their hips rolling, arms tracing the air. Every single piece of art I had created was alive at once. I threw my head back and let the music take over. For the first time in my life, I wasn't bracing for the next bad thing. I was home. Then, just before midnight, the roll-up door got kicked open so hard it rattled. The music cut instantly. Fog hung frozen in the beams of light. All the colored lights in the studio painted Alaric's face furious red as he stormed through the opening. Mom and Dad were right behind him, still dressed in fancy rooftop party clothes, but wrinkled and wide-eyed. Alaric's tie was gone, his shirt half open, hair plastered with sweat. He shoved past two dancers and roared, "Where the hell is Aloan?" Aloan had walked out of our own party before the cake. Everyone's phones shot up, red dots blinking like a swarm of fireflies. Mom looked at the champagne, the neon lights, and the crowded room and screeched, "You threw a rave while your brother's engagement imploded." Dad tried to grab Alaric's arm. "Son, let's take this outside." But Alaric jerked free and kept coming straight at me. Videos from this morning were everywhere. Aloan had seen everything. She told 400 guests she needed air and vanished. I stayed right in the center of the circle, LED crown glowing, arms loose at my sides. A circus headliner stepped half in front of me. "Back up, pretty boy." A 6-foot drag queen in platform boots folded her arms. "You're interrupting a celebration, sweetheart." Alaric didn't even glance at them. "Call her Lyric right now. Tell her it was a misunderstanding." The room went so quiet that you could hear ice melting in abandoned glasses. Then the side door opened again, slow and deliberate. Aloan stepped in alone. She wore an emerald silk dress with diamonds flashing in her hair. Not one strand out of place, but her face was carved from ice. She stopped 10 feet from Alaric, looked him dead in the eyes, and spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. "The wedding is off." You could hear a sequin hit the floor. Alaric spun toward her. "Baby, no." She slid the ring off her finger, calm and deliberate, and placed it on the nearest rolling tray like she was dropping off dry cleaning. "I just listened to 9 years of Venmo records. I listened to your parents beg your sister for $30,000 this morning like it was pocket money. I listened to you lie to my face about every single dollar. I'm done." Mom lunged forward, mascara running. "Aloan. Honey, he's just upset." Aloan turned on her so fast that Mom flinched. "Don't honey me. You used her like a credit card and treated her like garbage. You don't get to speak to me." Dad tried the calm adult voice. "This is a private family matter." Aloan laughed cold and sharp. "You forfeited the word family the second you told her she wasn't welcome tonight." Alaric took 2 desperate steps forward. "We can fix this. Please." Aloan looked past him straight at me. For 1 second, the ice cracked just enough for me to see gratitude. Then it froze solid again. She faced Alaric one last time. "There's nothing left to fix. We're done." She walked through the parted crowd, her heels clicking like gunshots, and disappeared out the side door without looking back. Alaric stood frozen, staring at the ring sitting alone on the tray. Mom started wailing loud enough to wake the dead. Dad grabbed Alaric's shoulder, trying to steer him out. Alaric didn't move, just kept staring at the empty space where his Aloan had been 10 seconds ago. A dancer near the front raised her glass. To Aloan, walking away from the trash. Half the room echoed her words. Phones never stopped recording. Someone started slow clapping. Someone else whistled. Alaric finally looked at me, eyes red, mouth open, trying to find words and failing. Mom sobbed louder. Dad muttered, "This is your fault." But it barely mattered over the growing noise. I didn't say a thing. I didn't have to. The DJ waited exactly 5 more seconds of silence, then dropped the filthiest bass line of the night. The floor erupted. Dancers surged forward, swallowing the spot where my family had been, like the tide taking driftwood. Lights strobed harder. Fog rolled thicker. Within 30 seconds, Alaric, Mom, and Dad were pushed all the way to the exit by a moving wall of bodies that never once touched them. Just dance them out. The roll-up door slammed shut behind them. The party didn't miss a beat. I walked straight to the front desk, yanked open the locked bottom drawer, and pulled out the thick black binder I had waited 9 years to open in public. 487 pages of Venmo screenshots printed in color, tabbed by year, every single transfer highlighted in neon yellow. I carried it like it weighed nothing and dropped it on the rolling tray right next to Aloan's discarded engagement ring. The ring rolled once and stopped against the spine. Aloan hadn't reached the exit yet. She turned, saw the binder, and froze. I grabbed the wireless mic from the DJ, clicked it live, and held it out to her. "Read the highlights," I said out loud. She stared at me for 1 heartbeat, then took the mic. Aloan flipped to the first tab and started, voice steady and clear. September 2016, $42,000. Alaric freshman year tuition and housing. May 2017, $15,000 personal training certification plus first private coach retainer. January 2019, $28,000 20% down payment unit 2704. The Ogden monthly recurring $2,000 gym membership, supplements, meal prep. July 2020, $19,000 full camera and lighting rig for YouTube relaunch. February 2021, $22,000 final balance on 4.2-carat emerald cut diamond ring. November 2022, $_ brand trip to Maldives business class plus villa. April 2024, $10,000 non-refundable deposit rooftop venue tonight. Last month, $9,000 custom wardrobe styling for an engagement shoot. 2 weeks ago, there was a deposit of $7,000 for flowers and decorations. It was a big deal because everyone was expecting a beautiful celebration. Yesterday morning, someone tried to pay $20,000, but it didn't work. The payment was declined. People in the room gasped and whispered all at once. Phones zoomed in, snapping pictures and recording videos. I could even see the pages of the binder reflected in the screens of all the phones. Eloan's voice stayed calm, steady and strong. She said that the total amount of money transferred over time was $481,642. All of it had come from Lyric Vera. Not a single dollar came from Alaric Vera. She let that number hang in the air like a judge announcing a verdict. Alaric looked like someone had punched him right in the stomach. Mom opened and closed her mouth over and over without making a sound. Dad stared at the binder like it might explode at any second. Everyone was frozen. Eloan turned another random page and kept reading. She showed different examples from different times. Christmas 2019. $5,000 for a family ski trip that Alaric wanted. March 2022. $8,000 for new teeth whitening and veneers to make his smile perfect. Just last week, $4,000 for an emergency spray tan package because his old tan looked orange on camera. Every single new line made people react louder and louder. Some gasped. Some shouted. Some covered their mouths in shock. Someone yelled from the back, "Read the footnotes." Another person screamed, "This is better than payroll leaks." Eloan closed the binder with a loud snap that echoed across the room. Then she repeated slowly into the microphone, $481,000. And not one single thank you in the memo line. Not one. She put the microphone on top of the binder, right next to the engagement ring, and looked at Alaric one last time. I thought to myself, I should have asked for this binder the day I said yes. Then she just turned and walked out. The door hadn't even clicked shut before the room completely erupted. The DJ killed the lights, except for one spotlight on the tray where the binder and the ring sat. Phones flashed like cameras at a big movie premiere. Dancers rushed forward, snapping close-up pictures of individual pages, live streaming, tagging brands, sponsors, and every influencer who had ever worked with Alaric. Someone held a page up to their story. Another pointed to the ring and the total paid by Big Sis. So Len jumped on the tattoo bed, screaming, "That's how you end a family drama with receipts." Then a chant started in the back. People were shouting numbers. 481, 481, 481, and the chant spread like wildfire through the crowd. I just stood there and let it happen. The binder passed from hand to hand like it was a trophy. People read random entries out loud, and every new line made the reactions even bigger. Within 6 minutes, host John Vera binder became the #1 trending topic in the United States. Within 10 minutes, Alaric's biggest protein sponsor had already posted a statement ending their 7-figure deal with him. The party didn't slow down. It just changed from a celebration to a coronation. I stood in the middle, finally feeling completely free. By the time I opened the studio on Sunday morning, Alaric's phone had already been blowing up for 12 straight hours. His biggest sponsor, the one paying for his condo, cars, and even half his personality, dropped him first. A single line appeared on their verified account. Effective immediately, we have terminated our partnership with Alaric Vera. We do not align with the values displayed last night. The statement hit 2 million likes in just 4 hours. Eloan's Instagram was next. Every engagement shoot, every couple video, every rooftop kiss disappeared. Her profile picture turned black, and her bio changed to one word, free. Within minutes, the internet crowned her as the winner. The Vera family drama became the #1 trending topic first in Las Vegas, then Nevada, and then the entire United States. Clips of Eloan reading the binder racked up 60 million views before lunch. Slow-motion videos of the ring hitting the tray became the most popular sound on TikTok overnight. Alaric's follower count began to drop in real time. 10,000 followers were gone in an hour. 50,000 gone by noon. Brands he had been teasing for collaborations started posting vague, excited messages, which everyone knew meant they were running away. Mom's Country Club WhatsApp group lit up like a Christmas tree, then went completely silent. One by one, the women who had begged Alohan for tea times at the private course started leaving the chat without saying a word. Dad watched his own followers drop by thousands every time he refreshed his phone. A former sorority sister of Alohan's posted a side-by-side picture. The engagement announcement versus the binder total. It got 100 million views. Local news picked it up. National gossip accounts ran it. An LA morning show even booked a psychologist to talk about toxic family dynamics, using last night's footage as an example. Alaric tried to do damage control. He posted a Notes app apology, but everyone ignored it. Then he posted a tearful story claiming the context had been edited out. Every single reply was a screenshot of a different transfer from the binder. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, his manager stopped answering calls. By 5, the condo building's Instagram quietly deleted every post that had ever tagged him. By 7, the country club removed Mom and Dad from the member directory pending review. I sat on my couch with Solen, our feet up, watching it all burn in real time while eating takeout ramen. Solen kept refreshing the trends. People were calling it the fastest public cancellation in Las Vegas history. I shrugged. 9 years in the making. Another notification pinged. It was Alohan from an unknown number. One message. Sister, please help me. I truly have nothing left. I read it once. My thumb hovered over the screen for half a second. Then I blocked it. Phone back face down. I hit the master switch on the wall. The Phoenix sign ignited in waves of bright magenta and cyan, flooding the entire studio with color. The crowd outside went wild. Cameras flashed like lightning. The DJ under my needle looked up and laughed. That sign is straight fire. You haven't seen it at night yet, I said, dipping fresh ink into the tattoo machine. The doors officially opened at noon. By 12:07, we were sold out for the next 16 months. Deposits poured in faster than the system could refresh. Champagne corks flew. The rooftop DJ dropped the opening track, and the building shook with music. Alohan slipped past security at 2:30, sunglasses on, grin wide, arms open. I met her halfway, and we hugged like we had been friends for decades. You did it, she whispered. We did it, I said, correcting her. We took one photo under the Phoenix sign and watched the likes hit 1 million in just 6 minutes. By 4 o'clock, the local news helicopter circled overhead for the evening segment. By 6, the digital billboard across the street flipped to the new campaign. My face, the Phoenix, the line built from scratch, never borrowed. By 9, I was still tattooing hands, steady music playing, every suite packed with clients who chose me because they wanted the best, not because they needed a bailout. No frantic calls. No guilt trips. No last-second Venmo requests. Just the clean hum of the machine, the glow of fresh white ink on skin, and the sound of my name being chanted by people who actually meant it. I wiped the final line, held up the mirror. The client stared, eyes glassy. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, they whispered. I smiled, snapped off my black gloves, and looked around at the empire I had built on my own talent, my own rules, my own money. Alaric's pathetic message was already erased from the universe. I killed the station light, cranked the main neons 1 notch brighter, and called the next name on the list. The Phoenix burned hotter than the desert sun, and I never looked back once. The whole day felt like magic. People laughed, danced, and cheered. The music shook the walls. The neon Phoenix glowed over everyone like it was watching and protecting the studio. Each client left with something they loved on their skin, and they were smiling. Some of them had tears of joy in their eyes. I realized then that I had finally created something that was mine, that belonged to no one else, that had been built entirely with my own hands, my own talent, and my own heart. Outside, people were still taking pictures, posting videos, and talking about the binder, Alohan, and the Phoenix. The city of Las Vegas had never seen anything like it. But inside, in my studio, I felt calm, strong, free. And I knew that no one, not even Alaric or his family, could ever take this away from me. The Phoenix burned brighter than ever, and I kept working, one tattoo at a time, one happy client at a time, building my empire with love, skill, and freedom. The world outside could do whatever it wanted, but inside we were unstoppable.